Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
Now, it's been dubbed the Latte Levy, a tax on the billions of takeaway coffee cups that Britons are throwing away every year. The environmental impact is serious. Almost all of them are impossible to recycle because of their plastic lining. MPs think adding an extra 25 pence onto the price of a disposable cup might make people think twice. Or should they even be banned altogether? Our chief correspondent, Alex Thompson, reports.
Bluntly, the message now is stay with crockery, or if you have to have a takeaway drink, bring your own container. Punches aren't being pulled. The MPs say the government should ban all hard-to-recycle paper cups in 6 years' time if they're not fully recyclable by then. They also point out the great British national coffee confusion. Almost all of us thinks that paper containers get recycled. In fact, hardly any of them do. What's wrong with that? I mean, it looks recyclable.
It certainly does, but you've got a brittle plastic lid there, you've got a cardboard outer, and then you've got this tiny, very thin plastic lining. That makes it really, really difficult to recycle. And the problem is when you think you're recycling this and you put it in the recycling, you're actually contaminating all the other recycling that's in there, because this is a non-recyclable product. Only 3 places in the country that can take this. So
Three in the whole country?
3 places in the whole country.
So they want plastic-lined cups fully recyclable and a 25p surcharge on all drinks bought in plastic-lined cups to encourage that, dubbed the Latte Levy. The parliamentary report says that in the UK we throw away 2.5 billion cups every year, and that produces 30,000 tonnes of waste per year, and just 1 in 400 cups actually gets recycled because only 3 plants exist to do the job. And one is here in Kendal, where that tiny lucky minority of cups gets broken down into quality paper, reusable plastic, and, would you believe, minerals and clay for farmers.
The issue that we've got is, whereas we've got a capacity of 500 million cups, we're using a fraction of that at the moment to recycle cups. So the challenge isn't technology, because the technology is there, and the more material we get in, we will just expand our capacity out. The challenge that we've got is actually the supply of cups to us.
But 3 plants can't meet the problem, and supply can't meet this capacity because it means separate collection for plastic-coated paper cups. So the MPs say better to persuade us all to use our own cups by imposing the Latte Levy.
The problem is we respond as humans better to a charge than we do to a discount. So all the psychology is that a charge will nudge people to do the right thing, very much like the plastic bag charge. That 5p charge, small in and of itself, but when you're using 20 bags for your shopping, it's a big commitment. So you bring your own plastic bags. We want people to get into the habit of bringing their own cups.
The Latte Levy cash would then be used to set up more plants like the one in Kendal and finance the separate bin and collection services that these cups demand. Meanwhile, 2 major high street players, Costa and Starbucks, have begun small-scale recycling, discounts for using your own cup and a 5 pence Latte Levy. But MPs say none of it goes anywhere near addressing the problem. Moreover, they say 3 of the biggest chains didn't even engage with their work. They are McDonald's, Café Nero and Pret-a-Manger. But this afternoon, Pret told us they have introduced a 50 pence discount if you bring your own cup. Some pursue their own alternatives. We're in the E5 bakery in East London with the founder, Ben McKinnon.
I'll show you one here.
Right.
This is completely compostable. It's paper on the outside and a starch liner on the inside, which is made from plants.
Yeah, it feels normal on the outside. Still, that feels almost like plastic on the inside. There's a skin though, smooth.
Yeah, it's a waterproof skin made out of PLA, a biodegradable starch, so it can be composted, and the lid as well.
At first sight, this appears a solution. And here in Hackney, it's been an established part of life ever since this cafe was set up. Many groups, environmental and otherwise, have welcomed the government's initiative. But they say, since the solution already exists here and now, and it's this, the fully compostable cup, Why not simply force all outlets and retailers to use those? However, compostable isn't the simple solution. These cups need specialist industrial treatment to break down. They won't recycle like ordinary paper. They won't compost like ordinary food waste. So, until easily recyclable paper cups go mainstream, what can you do? Simple. Don't use a throwaway cup. Do bring your own. Wash it up. Use it again. Repeat as necessary.
Alex Thompson sampling the lattes.
Well, there was a ray of hope today in one international standoff that has on a number of recent occasions revived fears of global nuclear conflict. North Korea has agreed to take part in what are being described as high-level talks with its rivals in the south. The meeting, the first between the two countries for more than 2 years, is scheduled to take place at a border village next Tuesday. The agenda is likely to include cooperation on next month's Winter Olympics. Now, it is the little lift many of us look forward to on the way to work. With the daily luxury of a takeout coffee comes with a cost, and not just to our pockets. The UK throws away 2.5 billion disposable coffee cups every year, but only a tiny proportion of these actually get recycled, less than 0.25%. So MPs are now calling for a 25p levy to be added to the cost of buying a coffee in a disposable cup to help pay for better recycling facilities and to cut the numbers being used, as charging for supermarket bags has. With the current boom in coffee culture, it's thought the so-called latte levy could have quite an impact.
Our thirst for a coffee comes at a price. The environmental cost of all these cups is so concerning that the actual cost may have to rise by 25p in what's being described as the latte levy. In Bristol, taking responsibility for what we consume, even if it means paying more, may be a small price to pay.
I think I probably would be more likely to buy a reusable cup if a disposable one cost extra. Yeah, a bit like the carrier bag thing, you know, having to pay 5p for a carrier bag makes me think about taking a bag out of the house with me, sort of thing.
I wouldn't suggest a tax is the way forward, and maybe implement something that would enforce that the companies making the cups use recyclable materials.
In Westminster, they're worried about our demand for disposable cups.
Recycling rates in general are stalling and in some places falling off. So this is something where we need to raise public awareness about the nature of the product and try and reduce the consumption of it.
There are recycling options already, but only 3 facilities in the UK can handle the paper cups and their thin layer of plastic on the inside. Despite the vast quantity of used cups, they struggle to get hold of them.
The issue that we've got is, whereas we've got a capacity of 500 million cups, we're using a fraction of that at the moment to recycle cups. So the challenge isn't technology, because the technology is there. The challenge that we've got is actually the supply of cups to us.
I've got a flat white for Dave on the bar.
But perhaps a levy isn't the answer. At one Bristol shop, they found that persuading customers to change their habits delivers results.
We've got our own branded key cups, and when you buy your first cup, you get a free coffee. So that's a bonus straight away, that's an incentive. And then every time you bring back a cup, and it doesn't have to be ours, it can be from anywhere, it can be from home, it doesn't matter, you get 30p off your coffee.
Our coffee consumption is likely to cost more, if not to the environment, than to our pockets. Rupert Evelyn, News at 10, Bristol.